Hey, you know what? I need to get an x-ray tonight. I mean an x-ray specifically on my back, obviously. But I'm really curious to specifically know exactly what's in my back. I'm very curious to know. So, well, let's not waste any time and let's get going. Getting those x-rays done was a lot easier than getting an MRI, a lot faster. I mean, an MRI takes at least like 20-25 minutes or so when you have to stay. It's a lot to do, and if you're claustrophobic at all, an MRI is not fun for you. X-ray, boom, 2 seconds, done. It wasn't digital, he had a, film and all that stuff, but the x-ray tech did let me, see the x-rays beforehand. So I do have a CD here. So let's see if, let's see if we can see what we can see on the computer. I mean, I'm anxious to show you what I saw, because seeing the x-rays when I was there, it was like complete confirmation that there's actually something inside my back, that there's actual hardware there. So let's see what we can do. Hopefully you can actually see instead of just looking at my bald spot. But let's throw these up on the screen. I don't necessarily feel this hardware in my back, so it's kind of like, well, is it really there? I don't know. So to really see that, it's like, I mean, obviously, I know they did the surgery, but it's just like mental confirmation that they did it. Second reaction was, it looked like Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street, but not like Freddy Krueger from Nightmare on Elm Street, like Freddy Krueger from Mortal Kombat, where he's got gloves on both hands. Kind of took his gloves and just jammed it right into my spine and is picking me up. That's what it reminds me of. I mean, not to get really crazy and morbid here, but it's pretty close to Halloween time, favorite time of the year. So it is pretty cool to see, well, what's in my back, to see the screws, the spacers, or bone grafts, whatever you want to call them. I think it's kind of a little bit of both. To see that stuff in my back, to know, well, it's in there, to see the rods that are in my back, to know that this hardware is in there. I want the serial numbers of all the hardware that they put in my back. Are they all the same serial numbers? Was this stuff custom ordered, or was some guy, going, all right, well, we need this stuff now. We need this, and that, and, well, that's the order form. Here you go. I need some parts. Or is it different serial numbers? Should I be playing the serial number, like in the lottery? I don't play the lottery, but what if the serial numbers are some like weird, not weird numbers, but like numbers where it's like too much of a coincidence, like it's my birth date or something like that. Or, well, no, that wouldn't be. Like, okay, how about like some other numbers that have a little bit more meaning to me? What if that would be weird. I gotta find out what these serial numbers are. Any which way, it's pretty cool seeing this stuff in my back. I mean, if they had filmed my surgery, I probably would have watched it, and then at some point I probably would have realized, oh, wait a minute, this is me, this is kind of freaky. So, well, let's take a look at this picture again. I'll just kind of point out where everything is in here. I mean, there's rods, there's screws, there's spacers or bone grafts, or it's a combination of the two, or cages, whatever. I mean, maybe they call it a cage because it has my bone graft material inside there. I'm not 100% sure. But either way, let's point some of this stuff out. It's kind of cool, and it's kind of crazy to think of what they did to my back. So obviously right here you can see 4 screws, and you can see the 3 spacers or bone grafts or cages, whatever they're called, that would be, well, they're in place of where my discs would be. So my discs were removed, and this is what they put in there. And then the screws are in my vertebrae, and they're holding the rods in. Now, I mean, this is a side view, so you only see, well, the side profile of everything. On this other one here, this other one is not a side view. It's the view from the front of the back. I don't know what the orientation was, but you can see the 2 parallel sets of screws. So that's 8 screws in there, 2 rods holding everything in place, and then the 3 spacers or cages, whatever they're called. And really, the screws and the rods are just there to hold everything in place until the bone graft takes effect, which I think could be anywhere from like 3 to 6 months or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on the timeline, but it does take a while as far as I understand. And you can kind of see up here my normal vertebrae and the back part of the vertebrae. I forget exactly what that's called. We'll throw an annotation up on the screen. But as you get lower, you don't see that. So I'm almost like 98% sure they removed that part of my spine. That part of my vertebrae is just completely gone. And I mean, my back's still swollen. So if I start feeling around on my back, it's squishy, but it's also swollen. So it feels squishy, swollen, but it also feels like there's something missing there, which is a little freaky and a little scary. I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask the doctor for sure exactly what's going on. And that's the whole point of getting this x-ray, because I have to have a follow-up visit pretty soon. And they wanna make sure everything's where it's supposed to be and everything is going good and looking good. So I guess I have a little bit more work to do, in the sense that I want to know. I'm a curious type of person. I want to know exactly what's in my back. And just in case you're curious too, and you might be a little afraid to ask, hey, is there any way we can see what's inside your back? Because that's kind of a weird question. But hey, I got no problem showing. It's like show and tell right now, you know what I mean? So I need to find out the serial numbers of this stuff, and why can't I get some sort of write-up of exactly what was done, exactly what's in there, the exact hardware that's in there? I mean, I should be able to know this, and the exact serial numbers. Who knows, that might, like, identify my body someday. You can definitely tell it's that time of year for me, October. That's when I watch all my serial killer movies, all my murder mystery movies, all my horror movies. All the gory and guts come out during Halloween. It's also when I normally make a lot of Halloween props, but this year I don't think I'm gonna get around. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make anything. That's gonna be a shame. What are you gonna do? In any event, I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you're new to the channel, definitely consider subscribing, especially if you clicked on this video because of any back-related issue you might have. Follow me along my journey to see, well, how the surgery went, how I was before, and how I'm recovering afterwards. It's kind of the whole purpose of this, so that, well, it might give you some insight as to at least what's going on with me. Not that every back issue is the same, but like I said, it might give you just some insight. So anyways, I'll see you tomorrow. Or I'll see you next time. I'll see you on the next one. We gotta think of a better way to end this. I'll see you.